Picture this: you're a developer, deep in the zone, smashing out code. Your tools just work. The terminal is your best friend. No bloat, no forced updates, no mysterious slowdowns. That feeling of total control? That's what developers call home, and for millions of us, that home is Linux. So what is this operating system that sparks such devotion? And why do developers love it so much? By the end of this video, you'll understand not just the what, but the why. And you might be tempted to install it yourself. Let's dive in. At its core, Linux is an operating system. Just like Windows or Mac OS. It manages your hardware, runs your applications, and gives you an interface to interact with the computer. But calling it just an operating system is like calling a Formula One car just a vehicle. Technically true, but it misses the point. The story of Linux begins in 1991 with a Finnish student named Linus Torvalds. He wanted a free, open-source alternative to the expensive Unix systems he was using at university. So he built the kernel, the brain of the OS, and shared it online. Then something incredible happened. Developers around the world started contributing. They fixed bugs, added features, and built entire distributions around this kernel. That collaborative spirit is still at the heart of Linux today. Let's talk about the architecture, but keep it simple. Linux has four main layers: the hardware, the kernel, the shell, and the application layer. The kernel is the core, talking directly to your CPU, memory, and devices. Above that sits the shell, which is the command line interface where you type commands. And on top of that, you have desktop environments and applications. Because it's modular, you can swap out any piece. Don't like your desktop environment? Change it. Want a different file system? Go ahead. This flexibility is unheard of on other operating systems. And that brings us to the most important concept: distributions, or distros. Think of the Linux kernel as the engine. A distribution is the whole car. It packages the kernel with a set of software, a package manager, and a default desktop environment. Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, Arch Linux. Each distro has its own philosophy. Ubuntu is beginner-friendly. Arch is for people who want to build everything from scratch. And there's even a distro called Linux Mint that looks almost exactly like Windows to ease the transition. The point is, you don't adapt to the OS. The OS adapts to you. Now, why do developers love this? The first reason is control and transparency. Since Linux is open source, you can see every line of code that makes it run. If something breaks, you can dig into the logs and fix it yourself. You're not waiting for a corporation to release a patch. For a developer, that freedom is addictive. The second reason is the terminal. The command line in Linux is incredibly powerful. You can automate tasks with simple scripts, manage servers, handle files, and install software all from one place. Once you get used to that efficiency, clicking around a graphical interface feels like driving with the parking brake on. The third reason is package management. On Windows, you usually download an installer from a website, run it, and hope it doesn't bundle junkware. On Linux, you use a package manager. One command, like sudo apt installs something, and it downloads the software plus all its dependencies from a trusted repository. It's clean, fast, and secure. And when you want to update everything, one command does it all. No restart required. That's a game changer for productivity. Let's look at real-world use cases. Linux dominates the server market. Over 90% of the web runs on Linux. Every time you watch a video on YouTube, search on Google, or post on Instagram, your request is handled by a Linux server. It's also the backbone of cloud computing. Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, they all run Linux virtual machines by default. Then there's embedded systems. Your smart TV, your router, your car's infotainment system, probably running Linux. And for developers, it's the platform of choice for programming. From web development to artificial intelligence, the tools are first class on Linux. But it's not all perfect. Let's talk about the cons. The biggest barrier is the learning curve. If you've only used Windows or Mac OS, the terminal can be intimidating. Finding the right distro for your hardware can be trial and error. Some hardware, like certain Wi-Fi cards or graphics cards, may not work out of the box. You'll have to troubleshoot. Software compatibility is another issue. Many commercial applications, like Adobe Photoshop or Microsoft Office, don't run natively on Linux. You can use alternatives or run them in a virtual machine, but it's not seamless. And gaming has improved dramatically thanks to tools like Proton, but some anti-cheat systems still block Linux players. So for day-to-day use, there are trade-offs. Now, the common pitfalls. Mistake number 1 is distro hopping. Beginners often jump from one distro to another, trying to find the perfect one. They spend more time reinstalling than actually working. Pick one, stick with it for at least a month. Ubuntu or Fedora are great starting points. Mistake number 2 is ignoring the terminal. Yes, you can use Linux with only a graphical interface, but you're missing out on its real power. Learn the basics like ls, cd, grep, and chmod. You'll wonder how you ever lived without them. Mistake number 3 is not using the community. Linux has one of the most helpful user bases on the internet. If you're stuck, a quick search will almost always find a solution. Don't be afraid to ask for help on forums or Reddit. Mistake number 4 is installing software from random websites. Always use your package manager or a trusted repository. That keeps your system secure and stable. Another pitfall is forgetting about permissions. Linux is built with security in mind. You need to use sudo to do administrative tasks. If you run everything as root, you're asking for trouble. Get comfortable with user permissions. And finally, don't expect it to be Windows. Linux is not a free clone of Windows. It's its own ecosystem. Embrace the differences, and you'll discover a more transparent and flexible way of computing. So, should you switch to Linux for your daily driver? It depends. If you're a developer who wants full control over your environment, or if you're running servers, or if you care deeply about privacy and open source, then yes, absolutely. For your average user who just wants to browse the web and check email, it's viable, especially with beginner-friendly distros. But you'll need to be ready to learn. The payoff is huge. You'll understand your computer on a deeper level, and you'll join a global community of builders and problem solvers. In a world where proprietary software often treats you like a product, Linux treats you like a creator. That's why developers love it. It's not just an operating system. It's an idea. That software should be free, transparent, and built by the people who use it. And that idea is more relevant today than ever before. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you want more in-depth tech breakdowns like this, subscribe to DevBrief. We've got a lot more coming. The terminal is calling.